Ever click on a random article and wonder how it elbowed its way to the top of Google?
Oh, yeah.
We're diving into a sneaky, some might say ingenious strategy called Parasite SEO. Forget building your own online castle for now. We're talking about catching a free ride to the top on the backs of internet giants.
Exactly. Think of it as digital hitchhiking. You're leveraging the massive online, the domain authority, as the SEO nerds call it, of platforms like Reddit, LinkedIn, Medium, even YouTube, to get your content seen fast, sometimes faster than you could say backlink. It's a bit like borrowing a megaphone when you only have a whisper.
A digital megaphone with millions of potential listeners. So why should this internet parasite thing tickle your fancy?
Good question.
Whether you're plotting world domination for your sourdough starter blog, trying to decode the online jungle for your new venture, or just enjoy a peek behind the digital curtain, this deep dive is for you.
Yeah, it's fascinating stuff.
We're going to dissect how this all works, dig up its surprisingly long history, name the big players who are unknowingly hosting these digital guests, and weigh the sweet rewards against the very real risks. Consider this your cheat sheet to understanding this fascinating and at times ethically ambiguous corner of the web.
Our mission today is to really get under the skin of Parasite SEO. We'll define it with precision, trace its evolutionary path, explore the nuts and bolts of how it's pulled off, shine a spotlight on the key platforms playing unwitting host, crunch some revealing numbers, and perhaps most importantly, contemplate the potential downsides and how it might fare in the future's ever-shifting digital landscape.
All right, let's get down to brass tacks. What in the digital darn heck is Parasite SEO anyway?
In essence, it's about capitalizing on the established online reputation or domain authority of those internet heavyweights Google already trusts.
Right.
By publishing your content on platforms like Reddit, LinkedIn, Medium, Quora, or YouTube, you're essentially drafting behind their credibility to achieve higher search engine rankings much faster than you could on a brand spanking new website.
Okay.
Think of domain authority as a website's online street cred, built up over time through quality content and links from other reputable sites.
So the Parasite label.
Yeah.
That's because the content creator gets the benefit of that street cred, but the platform itself isn't really getting a direct significant advantage, right?
Exactly.
It's not a win-win, it's more of a free lunch for the content creator.
Precisely. The natural world analogy fits surprisingly well. One organism benefits, the host just carries on, oblivious or perhaps slightly annoyed. And what's intriguing is that unlike the shady tactics of black hat SEO, the content itself isn't always some clickbait garbage. Often it's genuinely informative.
Oh, okay.
The key is the where and the how it's being published, leveraging someone else's digital turf.
Right. It's not about tricking the system with hidden keywords or dodgy links. It's more about being a clever digital squatter in a very desirable online neighborhood.
You got it.
So this isn't some brand new overnight sensation, is it? Where did this clever leveraging of platforms originate?
Oh no, this isn't the internet's latest fad. The roots of this go way back to the internet's early days. Picture the 2000s, the era of those sprawling article directories and the rise of Web 2.0 sites.
Yeah.
Savvy SEO folks were already figuring out that these platforms could offer a faster route to those coveted top spots in search results.
The internet's Wild West days. I vaguely remember those digital ghost towns of low-quality articles. It felt like every niche had about 1 million article directories promising overnight success.
Exactly. But as Google got smarter with updates like Panda and Penguin, those less than reputable platforms lost their mojo. The focus shifted towards more legitimate content-rich sites.
Right, the cleanup.
What's fascinating is the comeback we saw around 2018 to 2020. Stunningly, success stories were popping up, particularly on platforms like Reddit and Medium. That's when the SEO world collectively went, hold on a minute. It was an evolution from blatant exploitation to a slightly more nuanced, some might argue strategic use of existing authority.
Okay, so we know what it is, and it's somewhat shady lineage. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty. How does one actually do this Parasite SEO thing? What are the secret ingredients in this digital recipe?
It follows follows a pretty logical flow. First, you need to be a discerning squatter and choose your platform selection wisely.
Okay.
The golden rule is to target high-authority websites that actually allow user-generated content. The more reputable the digital landlord, the better.
Makes sense.
Then comes keyword research, figuring out what terms people are actually searching for but aren't so fiercely competitive that only the biggest players can rank. Think of it as finding the sweet spot of search volume and reasonable competition.
Makes sense. You need a popular online address, and you need to know what kind of virtual goods people are interested in buying, so to speak.
Precisely. Once you know what your potential audience is searching for, the next step is content creation. But this isn't about slapping together any old thing.
Right.
It needs to be targeted, genuinely helpful, and high quality, specifically tailored around those chosen keywords. Think valuable, in-depth content that actually answers people's questions. After that, you'd apply on-page SEO, strategically using your keywords in headings throughout the text, and taking advantage of any optimization tools the platform provides.
Right.
Even though you're borrowing their space, you still need to play by basic SEO rules.
So even though you're setting up shop on someone else's digital property, you still need to do a little interior decorating for the search engines.
Absolutely, and it doesn't stop there. Distribution is key, sharing your content to get those initial eyeballs and hopefully even snag a few backlinks. Think of it as spreading the word about your temporary pop-up shop. And of course, for many, the ultimate aim is monetization, whether that's through cleverly placed affiliate links, generating leads for a separate business, or acting as a funnel to your own website.
Okay, so pick your platform like you're choosing prime real estate, figure out what the digital shoppers are looking for, create content that's actually worth something, sprinkle in some SEO magic, and then get the word out. Got it. Any extra ninja tricks for making this work like a charm?
Strategic platform and even section selection within a platform can make a huge difference. For instance, on Reddit, diving into a highly specific and active subreddit can be far more effective than just posting in a general category. It's about finding your niche within their niche. And successful content often goes deep, detailed guides that leave no stone unturned, head-to-head comparisons that help people make decisions, personal stories that resonate emotionally, even well-researched expert interviews or analysis backed by data tend to perform exceptionally well. And it's not limited to just one or two topics. This can work across a surprising range of niches, although the level of success can definitely vary depending on the platform and the topic.
Okay, let's zoom in on these digital landlords.
Yeah.
You mentioned Reddit, LinkedIn, Medium, Quora, and YouTube. What makes each of these a prime location for our Parasite SEO strategy? Let's start with the front page of the internet, Reddit.
Reddit's big draw is its ridiculously high domain authority and its incredibly granular communities, those subreddits dedicated to just about every imaginable topic.
Yeah, it's wild.
We've seen incredible examples of in-depth reviews for hyper-specific gadgets hitting the top of Google, detailed yet accessible explanations of complex topics like DeFi ranking surprisingly well, and even very practical personal finance advice threads becoming go-to resources. The clever bit with Reddit is tapping into both the initial post and the often incredibly detailed and keyword-rich discussions that unfold in the comments. It's like the community itself helps boost the ranking.
Interesting. So it's not just your initial post, but the collective brainpower and discussion of the Reddit hive mind that can contribute to search engine visibility.
Definitely.
What about LinkedIn? I usually associate that with job searching and awkward professional networking, not exactly SEO wizardry.
That's the common perception, but LinkedIn wields impressive domain authority and operates within a very professional sphere. This makes it particularly potent for B2B and career-focused topics.
Okay.
Think insightful industry analysis, actionable professional development advice, detailed company overviews, or even answers to specific business service queries. Articles and company pages on LinkedIn can climb the search rankings surprisingly quickly for these kinds of professional searches.
So if you're trying to reach a professional audience, LinkedIn can be your surprisingly effective digital barnacle?
You could say that.
Okay, what about the darling of many online writers and thought leaders, Medium?
Medium is specifically architected as a publishing platform, making it inherently friendly to well-optimized content. We see a lot of success with in-depth software tutorials, cutting-edge marketing strategies, insightful personal development pieces, and analyses of emerging industry trends.
Right.
What's particularly noteworthy about Medium is that publications, those curated collections of articles around a specific theme, often tend to outrank individual posts, giving you an added boost by association. It's like joining a popular online magazine.
Ah, so forming a digital Voltron of articles on Medium gives you extra ranking power. Smart.
Yeah, kinda.
Now, Quora, the internet's giant Q&A board, where you can find both profound wisdom and profoundly wrong answers.
Exactly. Quora's question and answer format aligns beautifully with how people actually phrase their searches online, often in the form of direct questions. So you see Quora answers popping up for specific product comparisons. Should I buy X or Y? Practical how-to queries. How do I fix a leaky faucet? Problem-solving scenarios. Why is my computer so slow? And even opinion-based searches. Is working from home better than the office? Its strength lies in directly addressing that question-based search intent.
That makes perfect sense. If someone types a question into Google, a well-crafted and authoritative Quora answer is primed to show up.
Precisely.
And finally, the king of online video, YouTube. How does Parasite SEO manifest in the land of vloggers and viral clips?
YouTube is a slightly different beast since it inherently revolves around video content. However, its colossal domain authority helps videos rank not only within YouTube's search engine, but also prominently in Google's regular search results, especially for how-to and review-style queries.
Right, you see that a lot.
Successful examples include comprehensive tutorials, honest product reviews, engaging demonstrations, and educational content. The trick here is not just optimizing the video title and tags, but also crafting detailed descriptions and even providing transcripts, giving search engines more text-based information to understand and rank your video.
Okay, so we've got our list of potential platforms in a sense of how to, shall we say, cohabitate with them for SEO gains. But does this actually deliver tangible results? Are there numbers to back up this seemingly freeloading approach? Hit us with some stats.
Absolutely. The data paints a rather compelling picture. Those high-authority platforms we've been discussing, Reddit, LinkedIn, Medium, Raw, they all boast domain ratings in the mid to high 90s.
Wow.
That's a significant head start compared to a fledgling website just trying to get on Google's radar.
Huge difference.
Interestingly, a significant portion of successful Parasite SEO efforts target keywords with a respectable monthly search volume, typically ranging from 1,000 to 10,000. They're not necessarily going after those ultra-competitive million search-a-month keywords where everyone and their digital dog is competing.
So they're picking their battles wisely, going for achievable and valuable search terms.
Exactly. And when you analyze the length of content that tends to rank well using the strategy, successful Parasite SEO pages average around 1,850 words.
Okay.
Long-form content, clocking in at over 2,000 words, is actually 3.4 times more likely to snag a spot in the top 10 search results on these platforms.
Interesting. So longer is better, even here.
Seems so. User engagement also plays a crucial role. On Reddit, posts that garner a decent level of upvotes and comments, say 50 upvotes and 30 comments, demonstrate significantly better ranking performance, showing something like a 215% improvement.
So community interaction really fuels it.
Definitely. And it seems visuals help too, with around 78% of successful pages incorporating images or videos.
So it's not just a wall of text. Engaging content with visual elements tends to perform better, just like good content anywhere else online.
Right, exactly.
What about the speed of results? How quickly can you see your content climbing the ranks using this method compared to the often glacial pace of building your own website's authority?
That's one of the major lures of Parasite SEO. The average time it takes for Parasite content to reach the coveted page 1 of Google is around 38 days.
38 days, that's fast.
It is. Now, compare that to the roughly 187 days it typically takes for content on a brand new domain to achieve the same feat, and you can see the immediate appeal.
Big difference.
However, it's not all sunshine and rainbows and rapid rankings. Conversion rates, the percentage of people who take a desired action after finding your content, tend to be a bit lower on these platforms, averaging around 2.3% compared to the 3.7% you might see on your own, more controlled website.
Okay, so less conversion potential.
Yeah. And perhaps the most sobering statistic is that only about 31% of Parasite SEO content manages to maintain those top rankings for more than a year. It's often a case of here today, gone tomorrow.
So it offers the potential for quick wins, but not necessarily long-term digital dominance. That makes sense. Let's dig a bit deeper into those potential quick wins. What are the core advantages of taking the Parasite SEO route?
The most compelling advantage is that immediate authority boost. You're essentially skipping the often lengthy and resource-intensive process of building a new website's credibility from the ground up.
All right, the slog.
To give you a real-world example, one SEO experimented and managed to rank a Medium article for a competitive term in just 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Wow.
Something they estimated would have taken upwards of 6 months to achieve on their own brand new domain. That kind of speed can be incredibly valuable for time-sensitive information or capitalizing on trending topics, offering a strategic advantage that traditional SEO often can't match.
Talk about a digital slingshot. That's like jumping straight to the front of the line. What's the next big perk of this strategy?
Minimal initial investment. Think about all the upfront and ongoing costs associated with running your own website. Domain registration fees, hosting charges, web design and development expenses, the often complex technical SEO work, the ongoing effort of link building, even just setting up and managing a content management system.
Yeah, that's up fast.
Parasite SEO largely sidesteps all of that. Your primary investment is your time and effort in creating the content and perhaps a bit of promotion.
So it's a significantly lower barrier to entry, financially speaking. Makes it particularly attractive for startups, side hustles, or anyone operating on a tight budget.
Definitely.
What about the dreaded technical headaches that often plague website owners?
That's another significant draw. Reduced technical requirements. These established platforms handle all the behind-the-scenes technical complexities, ensuring fast page loading speeds, mobile responsiveness across different devices, implementing schema markup to help search engines understand your content, and making sure your content gets indexed by search engines in the first place.
Ah, that's huge.
You, as the content creator, can focus purely on crafting your message and optimizing it within the platform's user-friendly interface.
That sounds like a massive weight off the shoulders for anyone who's ever spent hours wrestling with website speed issues or trying to decipher the mysteries of schema markup.
It really can be.
What other benefits does this strategy offer?
You also gain access to a built-in audience. These platforms already have active communities of users who browse their feeds, follow specific topics, and use their internal search functions.
Right, their own traffic.
So you have the potential to get traffic not just from Google and other search engines, but also from the platform's existing user base. It's like having 2 potential streams of traffic flowing to your content. And finally, it can provide valuable, diversified traffic sources, which is always a wise strategy in the unpredictable world of online marketing. It can complement your traditional website SEO efforts and create multiple pathways for people to discover your expertise or offerings.
Okay, the advantages sound pretty compelling. Rapid results, lower costs, less technical stress, and a potential ready-made audience. But as the old saying goes, if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. What are the major downsides and risks associated with this parasite game?
The most significant and fundamental risk is platform dependency. You are entirely at the mercy of platforms over which you have absolutely no control.
Yeah, that's the big one.
This dependency can manifest in several potentially devastating ways. The platform could, for any number of reasons, decide to remove your content or even suspend your entire account with little or no warning, instantly wiping out your hard-earned rankings and traffic.
Oof.
They can change their algorithms, drastically reducing the visibility of your content or altering the ways in which you are allowed to monetize it. And they frequently update their terms of service, potentially outlawing practices that were once perfectly acceptable, leaving you scrambling to adapt or facing removal.
Wow.
It's a stark reminder, isn't it? You're building on borrowed time and borrowed space.
Ouch. That sounds like building your dream house on someone else's land, and then they suddenly decide to build a shopping mall right where your living room used to be.
Exactly. One affiliate marketer who had built a substantial income stream from their articles on Medium shared a cautionary tale of a sudden algorithm change that led to an 87% drop in their traffic overnight, with absolutely no recourse or way to recover those lost views and earnings. That's a chilling reminder of the lack of control.
That's brutal. 87% overnight. What other potential pitfalls should our listeners be aware of?
Limited branding opportunities. When your content lives within another company's ecosystem, your control over visual branding, the overall user experience, and crucially, building your own distinct brand recognition and cultivating a loyal audience is severely limited. You're essentially lending your expertise and content to their platform, which ultimately benefits their brand more than your own. You don't get to build that direct connection and sense of ownership with your audience that you would on your own website.
So you're helping them build their brand equity more than you're building your own long-term brand identity. That makes perfect sense. What about the level of competition? If this strategy is so effective, are these platforms becoming saturated with parasitic content?
Absolutely. When a successful parasite SEO strategy is identified on a particular platform, it becomes incredibly easy for competitors to jump in and replicate the approach, often targeting the exact same keywords with very similar content.
Copycats everywhere.
Without the inherent defensibility of your own unique domain and established brand, your parasite SEO rankings can be much more vulnerable to being overtaken by competitors who simply publish similar content on the same high-authority platform.
Right.
It's like a digital gold rush. But the gold vein could dry up at any moment or get instantly swarmed by other prospectors, all vying for the same limited resources.
It sounds like a strategy with a potentially very short shelf life.
Yeah.
Mid-roll call to action. Ready to explore some amazing opportunities. Visit the links in the description below for amazing offers. You might find just what you need to take your next step.
So looking into our crystal ball, what do you foresee for the future of this parasite SEO strategy? Is it a fleeting trend, or will it continue to adapt and evolve in the ever-changing digital landscape?
Will our digital hitchhikers continue to find free rides, or will the platforms start charging fares?
I believe its long-term viability is certainly facing increasing headwinds. The platforms themselves are not static. They are constantly evolving their algorithms, policies, and user experiences.
Always changing.
We're already observing a noticeable trend towards stricter rules regarding external links, a greater emphasis on fostering internal engagement within the platform, and more stringent moderation of overtly commercial or promotional content. For example, Medium's shift towards a member-only model, Reddit's increasingly strict guidelines on self-promotion, LinkedIn's algorithm prioritizing connections and interactions within its own network, and Quora's tighter policies on promotional answers all suggest that these platforms are becoming more protective of their own ecosystems and less welcoming to purely parasitic activity.
So the walls are closing in a bit.
The hosts are getting wise to their freeloading guests, it seems.
The free ride might be coming to an end. What about the search engines themselves, like Google? Are they likely to just stand by and watch their search results potentially get dominated by content sitting on other people's websites?
Not at all. Google and other search engines are in a constant state of refinement, continuously updating their algorithms to better understand user intent, identify low-value or manipulative content, and prioritize websites that offer a genuine and trustworthy experience.
Right, the quality focus.
Their increasing focus on helpful content and user experience metrics strongly suggests that they will be paying closer attention to content that seems to exist primarily for ranking purposes rather than to genuinely serve the needs of searchers. History has shown us that Google isn't shy about targeting and devaluing strategies that attempt to game the system in this way. The ground beneath the parasite SEO practitioners could very well shift dramatically with any future algorithm update.
So the digital rug could be pulled out from under them at any moment with a tweak to the search engine secret sauce.
Could be, yeah.
What about just the sheer number of people trying to leverage this tactic? Will the digital highways just become overcrowded with parasitic content?
That's a very likely scenario. As more and more people adopt these parasite SEO tactics, the overall effectiveness for everyone involved tends to diminish.
Makes sense.
You'll see increased competition for those limited top ranking spots on the platforms. The general quality of content on those platforms might start to decline as more people prioritize SEO over genuine value, and the platforms themselves may become more aggressive in their moderation efforts to combat this, ultimately leading to diminishing returns for everyone trying to use this approach.
So a race to the bottom, potentially.
It's a classic case of a good idea becoming less effective as more people jump on the bandwagon.
So it sounds like a strategy with a potentially limited shelf life due to both platform evolution and increased competition. How does this approach really stack up against the more traditional method of building your own website and establishing authority over the long term?
When you directly compare parasite SEO to the strategy of building your own owned digital assets, you see some very clear trade-offs. Parasite SEO offers the allure of faster initial results, a lower upfront investment, and simpler technical hurdles.
Quick wins.
However, it comes bundled with significantly higher long-term risk due to your dependence on external platforms, limited potential for building lasting asset value, restricted control over monetization options and branding, and that fundamental reliance on a third party's rules and algorithms.
The trade-offs.
Building your own website, on the other hand, often requires a more significant initial investment of time and resources and takes longer to see those initial ranking results. However, it provides you with long-term value in the form of a digital asset you control, greater opportunities for building your brand and connecting directly with your audience, and a more sustainable foundation for your online presence.
Okay, so if someone's tuning in and thinking, maybe I should give this Parasite SEO thing a try, what practical advice would you offer them? What are some smart ways to approach it, if at all?
If you're considering dipping your toes into these waters, it's crucial to be very strategic about platform selection. Carefully evaluate their domain authority, their policies on indexing and external links, the potential for genuine engagement with their user base, their specific monetization policies, and the perceived stability of their terms of service.
Do your homework.
Definitely. Your content development strategy should always prioritize creating truly valuable content. Focus on being comprehensive in your information, offering unique insights or perspectives, and genuinely addressing the searcher's underlying intent while also respecting the content norms and expectations of the platform you're using.
Right.
Don't just try to cram keywords into thin content. Aim to be genuinely helpful to the platform's users as well.
So don't just be a freeloader. Try to offer something of value to your temporary hosts and their community.
Exactly. That helps everyone.
What about safeguarding yourself against those inherent risks we talked about?
Risk mitigation is absolutely paramount. Avoid putting all your eggs in one digital basket. Diversify your efforts across multiple relevant platforms.
Don't rely on just one.
Right. Always maintain your own backups of all the content you publish on these external sites. If you start to see significant success in traffic, seriously consider how you might gradually transition some of that audience and content back to your own website if feasible.
Plan an exit strategy.
Sort of. Strive to build connections with your audience that aren't solely reliant on a single platform. And think about creating content that could be repurposed in different formats and hosted on your own channels should your Parasite efforts falter.
Sounds like a cautious and strategic approach is definitely the name of the game. Could you ever envision a scenario where using Parasite SEO is actually a really intelligent move as part of a broader online strategy?
Absolutely. A well-executed hybrid strategy can be quite effective. For example, you could strategically use Parasite platforms to quickly test out new niche markets or content ideas before making a significant investment in building out those areas on your own website.
Testing the waters.
Exactly. You can repurpose successful content that gained traction on platforms onto your own site, giving it a head start. You can create complementary content across both your owned properties and Parasite platforms to drive traffic and build overall brand awareness while you're in the process of building your own domain authority over time.
So it's potentially a useful stepping stone or a way to test the waters rather than a sustainable long-term destination in itself.
That's a good way to put it.
Let's bring this deep dive to a close. What's your final verdict on Parasite SEO? Is it legitimate and ethical strategy or more of a shadowy tactic in the SEO underworld?
It's a legitimate tactic with specific applications, but it's inherently a temporary strategy. You might consider it if you're launching a brand new business with limited initial visibility, if you're looking to quickly test the viability of different niche markets, if you need to build some initial online presence rapidly, if you're operating with very limited technical skills or financial resources, or if you're trying to break into a highly competitive niche where ranking a new website from scratch is a significant uphill battle.
Okay, so specific use cases.
Right. However, you should probably steer clear if you have an established brand that needs consistent control, if your primary goal is to build long-term sellable asset value, if you require strong and consistent brand control over your online presence, if you're not prepared for the potential for sudden and significant losses of traffic or revenue due to platform changes, or if the dominant platforms in your niche have very restrictive and potentially prohibitive terms of service regarding commercial content.
So a potentially handy tool in the digital marketing toolkit, but definitely not the only tool, and one that needs to be used with a clear understanding of its limitations and potential risks.
Precisely. Parasite SEO offers a shortcut to achieving initial visibility, but it comes with a trade-off in terms of long-term control and asset value. It's best approached as part of a broader, more resilient online strategy that prioritizes the development of your own digital assets for sustainable growth and lasting impact.
So what do you think, dear listener? Is Parasite SEO a clever way to get your voice heard in a crowded digital world, or a risky game of digital hopscotch with potentially unstable platforms?
Yeah, what's your take?
It certainly throws a spotlight on the ever-shifting rules of how we find and consume information online.
We've explored how borrowing authority can lead to rapid visibility, but also the inherent instability of constructing your online presence on rented digital land. It's a fascinating case study in the constant tension between pursuing short-term gains and building for long-term sustainability in the digital realm.
This deep dive has hopefully illuminated this often discussed strategy for you. We encourage you to think critically about the platforms you use and the content you encounter. Is it offering genuine value, or just cleverly catching a ride?
Here's a final thought to ponder. As these online platforms continue to evolve, and as search engines become ever more sophisticated in their ability to discern genuine value, how might strategies like Parasite SEO need to adapt to remain effective? Or will they eventually fade into the background as platforms and algorithms become more discerning?
Good question.
What will be the next innovative approach to getting your message seen in an increasingly noisy digital ecosystem?